Hello YouTube. So now that I've hit my first big milestone of 500 hours and working as a CFI, I wanted to share with my fellow career 2.0 pilots, or maybe this is even a career 1.0 for you, but for most of my audience, it's a career 2.0, a little bit about the journey and what you can expect if you follow a similar path to what I've done. So if that sounds interesting to you, then you're going to want to hang around and watch the rest of this video, because I'm going to unpack it all and share with you really my first-hand experience. So let's dive right into it. After earning a private pilot's license way back in my 20s and accumulating about 100 hours and not flying for about 20 years, I decided to become a professional pilot as Career 2.0. And as I've talked about extensively in other videos, I began my training on May the 4th. I did a 91-day sprint. I accumulated 7 ratings in the period of those 91 days. And if you want to watch the video about that, there'll be a link down in the description. And then I finished on August the 6th of 2023. And when I was finished, I had 235 hours in real aircraft, and I had logged another 50 hours in a simulator, an approved simulator. And there'll be, again, links to the description about a little bit more about the simulator that I was using. And it was a really cool simulator. It's one of those full motion ones that wiggles all over the place. So that is a little bit of just kind of background. So let's talk about my life starting as a CFI. So the very first thing that I did was I did not apply for CFI jobs. Now, that might not be an option for everyone. In my case, I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I'm pretty much accustomed to building businesses. So going and being a CFI and getting paid 25 bucks an hour and having someone else run my schedule and feed me students and maybe not fly me as often as I would like to be flying was of zero interest to me. So instead, I followed in the footsteps of my mentor. I found a flight school locally that really wasn't very busy, and I started my work as a CFI on August the 23rd of 2023. And I wasn't super busy for the first month. So in an effort to try and drum up some business for myself, I made videos, of course, on YouTube. I posted on Facebook, both on my personal profile and in local pilot Facebook groups. I posted on LinkedIn. And then I got some business cards printed up for myself, and I literally spent, I think it was just one day, wandering around the airport, handing out cards to everyone, talking to everyone that I saw on that one day. And then around that time, I started to get some interest from students, and so I started to do what I would call sporadic training. I wasn't super duper busy, and so in some of my free time, one of the key things that I did was I developed a workflow in my software company for teaching students, because it's very important if you're going to be a CFI that you know what the hell you're doing. And as a brand new CFI, I did not feel confident about being an instructor and making sure that I knew how to fly, but I'd never taught anybody before. And of course, there's a syllabus and a lesson plan and all of those things. So I created this Flowster workflow that you can see on your screen now, and in the workflow, and I'll put a link in the description. I'm not going to make this video about a tour of the workflow, but you can see here, there's a whole bunch of steps on the left. Phase 1, pre-solo flight, phase 2, cross-country, phase 3, solo cross-country, and again, I don't want to make this video about the workflow that I created. So there'll be a link in the description. You can click through it and see it all. It's pretty cool. If you do end up signing for a Flowster account, I'll give you a free copy of that. I also have a instrument training workflow, which I would be very happy to give you as well. Nonetheless, it's a way for me to always know exactly what I'm doing. The student has access to it, so they always know what they're doing, and they can prepare for the next day's training by following the correct ground school lessons and so forth. So by October 2nd, which was really just a month and change into my career as a CFI, my schedule was basically full. I literally was turning away students because I was flying as much as the basically as my workload would allow. I was maxing out somewhere between 6 and 7 hours a day, and by the time of logged time, and by the time you include, the in between students and a lunch break and so forth, it worked out to be a pretty long day. So my schedule has been what was at the beginning and continues to be. I work Monday to Friday, typically 9 to 5, because I got to drop my daughter off at school. So I'm at the airport by 9, starting my first lesson at 9, finishing up at 5 or 5:30. And that is really appealing to me. I don't really like working evenings very much. I don't really like working weekends. And so I try to avoid that wherever possible. Now, with that said, thanks to the workflow, I know when a student pilot is going to be needing their night training. So when that happens, of course, I make sure that I schedule it for them. And that's when I will be working evenings during the week. And so far, that has worked out very, very well. I keep myself fully booked. All my students know well in advance what their flights are going to be. And I never have any difficulty getting aircraft because I'm scheduling everything so far in advance. Right around the 15th of November, which is not too long ago, because what is it now, the 28th or 29th of November, I hit 500 hours, and that was pretty darn cool. That was a big milestone. Of course, I did the iPad thing, and I put the 500 hours up. And around that time, I had also achieved 210 hours of dual given. So between August 23rd and November 15th, I made just over $10,000 as a CFI, which is probably about double. Well, not probably about double. It is double what I would have earned as a CFI if I went to work for a school. And so that's worked out very, very well for me. The average weekly hours logged now are somewhere around 25 hours. As we get further into winter here, that's probably going to go down a little bit, but we get typically quite good weather here in Boise, so not a lot of days lost to weather. Average weekly earnings are $1,000 to $1,500. And my wait list with new students now is typically about 5 to 6 weeks. So if you're interested in training with me, definitely visit my website, Fly with Trent. There's a place there where you can learn about training with me. You can make a reservation. And that is the way to get yourself into my calendar. Just know that you're probably looking at 5 to 6 weeks wait time. And then social media, otherwise, in my case, YouTube, pretty much sends me all the students that I need. That's why I'm very fortunate to have the waiting list that I have. And then the other thing that I'm doing at this point in my career, I'm calling it like I'm 1/3 the way to the 1,500 hours that I'm looking for so that I can go and start with a regional airline next summer, is I'm considering other forms of flying to try and get more multi-engine time and also to maybe even get some turbine time. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I've done a number of pilot interviews, and those have been super helpful to me. One of the things that I'm looking at doing is actually survey pilot flying, depending upon, like, I'm not really interested in going and flying a 172 around to do survey pilot work because I can get 172 time all day long as an instructor. But some survey companies fly caravans, others fly multi-engine aircraft, and they have schedules where maybe it's 30 days on and 2 weeks off, or something like 30. One of them is 30 on, 30 off. So there's an opportunity for me to take a hybrid approach. And some of that survey flying, of course, you're going all over the country, you're going into different airports, you're doing a lot of things that maybe you wouldn't be doing as a flight instructor, because honestly, as a flight instructor, I spend a lot of time doing this. Not really a lot of time with my hands on the controls, as you might imagine. So it is nice to also get some stick and rudder time. And so I will stay tuned in future videos of any of that. There is some applications that I've put out, but I don't have anything to really share in that regard right now, so I will not do that. All right, to wrap up what my journey to 500 hours, I want to share with you some key lessons that I have learned along the way. Number one is keep on studying. I have basically not stopped studying since getting all my ratings. Now, am I studying as many hours per day as I was before? No, but I'm still regularly going through ground school. I'm reading the FAR, I'm reading the AIM, I am watching videos on YouTube, because as an instructor, your job is to know as much as possible, and it's very easy to get stale on pieces of knowledge that you're not using regularly when you're teaching it to your students. So professional development, like any career on planet Earth, keep on studying. In my case, the very best way to attract new students has been to do what I'm doing right now. Talk to the camera, put it on YouTube. It has surprised the hell out of me how I just get a continual, steady stream of new requests from all of you lovely people out there in YouTube land who want to come and fly with me, and that's super cool. And so if you're the type of person who wouldn't mind chronicling your journey, I would encourage that you get set up and you do something similar to what I'm doing. With respect to aircraft, make sure that you have access to more than one aircraft, because, shocker, planes go down for maintenance. For example, normally I have access to three aircraft, and all of them are down for maintenance right now. I have been doing a lot of pleasure flying in my buddy Cirrus, because I haven't taught in a week, because the primary plane, the two planes that I fly most often, one of them went into shop for an engine swap, and the other one went into shop for a service bulletin for some rudder pedal cables. And maintenance shops are always busy, so it's not like you can just say, hey, the plane needs work, can you do it today? Because they don't necessarily do that. And then finally, the last thing, if you do set yourself up in a situation like me where you're an independent instructor and you could potentially be competing for access to a finite number of aircraft, schedule your flights well in advance. All of the students who sign up with me know this. When you make a deposit and you become a student, I'm going to literally schedule probably 4 weeks of your flights or more well out in advance, because most instructors don't do that. And therefore, I get first dibs on the planes. And so that makes it very easy for me to maximize the number of hours that I'm flying in a given week, subject to weather conditions, of course. And it allows my students, who are about half of my students, come in from out of town and the other half are local. It allows them to know well in advance when they are going to be flying and when they're going to have downtime, and they all like that very, very much. I got anything more? Yes, we do. For ground school, I don't actually teach ground school personally. One, because it's not really very fun. Two, it doesn't generate any loggable hours for me. And three, the online ground schools are so good, and most of my students are mature students, so they don't need me to read them stuff that they can read or watch on their own. So if you're interested in ground school, the one I recommend is Gold Seal. There is a link on my website. It's what I recommend for all of my students, and so far it seems to be working very, very well. And then finally, another benefit of being a YouTuber is it gives me the opportunity to interview other pilots, and that has been highly beneficial for me, because I learn a lot of new things. I learned about the survey pilot aspect. I've learned about, day rate and corporate pilot stuff. And all of these things are quite interesting to me to learn more about. And so these ideas get on my radar screen from the interviews that I do. Plus, it expands my network. And that's always a good thing. And you can also use it as a way to differentiate yourself when you're applying for a job. For example, I've been talking about survey pilot work. I did a little bit of research, found a company that flies multi-engine aircraft, and they have a schedule. I think it's 18 days on, so you could be anywhere in the US for those 18 days, and then 12 days at home. So of course I applied for that, but then I'm just like I'm a resume and a stack of resumes. So no real great way to make me stand out. So what do you think I did? Well, I reached out to the owner of the company on LinkedIn and I said, hey man, you and I are both entrepreneurs. We're both pilots. I've got this YouTube channel. You've got this really cool company. I would love to interview you on my channel. And guess what he said? He said, hey man, I would love to do that with you. So that interview is upcoming. But guess what that gave me? And I also told him about, at the end, oh, by the way, I did apply for one of your open positions. So I said, oh, you should expect to hear from our hiring department soon. My point is this. I now have a little itty bitty relationship with the owner of the business, and after I interview them, that little itty bitty relationship will grow a little bit more because we'll get to know each other a little bit better, and that can be highly beneficial with respect to making my resume stand out from all the other resumes that are in the stack. All right, that is it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you have questions about this video, make sure you leave them right down in the comments below. And if you would like to express some thanks for me making this video, I would love it if you would smash the like button, leave a comment. Even if you don't have a question, just say, hey, love the video, just any kind of comment at all, because that tells the YouTube algorithm that there's a high level of engagement on this video and that will show it to more people and I can get more views and that can help the channel grow. And if this is your first time watching one of the videos on my channel, you may even want to consider becoming a subscriber so that you don't miss future videos. And with that in mind, you can also become an email subscriber by visiting flywithtrent.com. I don't send a lot of emails. I basically only send emails to notify my subscribers whenever I produce a new full-length video like this. Thanks very much. Have a wonderful day. It was a treat for me to get to share this with you, and I look forward to seeing your comments, questions, and feedback. We'll see you again in another video soon. Take care. Bye-bye.